So, for those who don't know, apparently these two guys literally beheaded a British soldier in the streets of London with like cutlery, with like a meat cleaver and a knife, and their hands were bloodied, and they didn't run away. They stayed, and they were filmed by, I guess, like people standing around on cell phone cameras, and he's like, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said something to the letter of like, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. You know, I'm sorry your women had to see this, but our women see this every day. Remove your government. Mm-hmm. And in the background, there's this soldier laying out there, like, decapitated. It was fucking hardcore. And then the cops showed up and just gunned him down.
Yeah, but see, I would have gunned him down well before the cops showed up.
Yeah.
Not over there you wouldn't, because you don't have any
you
guns.
wouldn't have a gun.
Yeah, but that's the whole point.
Wings is like, I got my mag light, though. So,
I mean,
somebody please.
Where's the fucking salt of these British men to let them cut one of their fellow soldiers' heads off?
Guys, somebody please Photoshop a picture of Wings battling a terrorist in the street. The terrorist has a meat cleaver, Wings has a mag light, and they're like mid battle, and like the mag light and the meat cleaver are like hitting each other. Like I want that Photoshop picture. Like,
it
Wings
might be
of
the next
Redemption.
background of PKA.
Yes, yes.
How about this? How about have the mag light like a lightsaber and I'm battling with it?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Wings of Redemption, shining the light on terrorism since 1987.
But the fact is, where's the salt of these British men? This was like a bar scenario, and it piled out into the street. Where's his buddies? Where's all the people like that? You gonna let this man?
Well, what about the guy filming him?
Oh, all the motherfuckers standing around filming it.
Like while this guy is giving his manifesto, there's other people that could just tackle him and beat the shit out of him.
He did have bloody hands and like akimbo meat cleavers.
Yeah, look.
I don't give a shit. I would kick him right in his heart.
No. Okay, so what would happen if that happened in America? If let's just say that I'm standing there on the street. If I'm not armed, now if they're in the process of murdering the guy, if the guy is screaming for help, that is one thing. Then I think, people need to intercede. They need to jump in there, like throw rocks, whatever, sticks, whatever. Hit the guy with your shoes if that's what it takes. But it looks to me like they just like quickly killed this guy, and then the real show where people were standing around watching was the actual
Kyle,
basically butchering of the guy.
You grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
It takes a while to cut somebody's head off with a meat cleaver.
It does. I didn't grow up on a farm, but I have access to the internet, and I can confirm that.
It's not like the movies. You ain't got like a katana that's sharpened to the point of 1,000 times over.
No. If given the
You got
choice,
3 or 4 good hits,
based
and
on
you
my
gotta
internet
cut
viewing
it.
habits, if given the choice between having your head chainsawed off and chopped off with a knife or meat cleaver, pick the chainsaw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's how you want it done.
And the fact is, this was not a 10-second thing. This was like a 2 or 3 minute job he had to do to get this guy's head off.
Mm-hmm.
I
he's
think
going to
he's
be
dead.
gargling. He's going to be screaming. He's going to be begging for help. And these people are standing around trying to get a YouTube video.
I don't think that's the case. I don't
YouTube
think it is.
Worst case scenario, a world star hip hop video.
Google Cash.
World star hip hop.
But the fact is, even if I couldn't beat these guys physically, I'd get in my truck and try to run them over.
So yeah, that absolutely. If I'm driving and I'm like, oh, let's just drive on through London. Oh, and there's some terrorists hacking a man's head off. Let's run them over.
Just bam, hit them right with your fucking butt.
Yeah. Maybe drive by and like do one of those moves where you open the door on them really hard, hit them with the door.
Yeah, that would disorient them enough. I guarantee there's the goddamn meat cleaver.
That would be the most viral YouTube video ever if you had like the terrorists like la, 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 about to hack the guy. You know what I'm talking about, Lefty. And then all of a sudden like Lefty drives in his pickup truck, like opens the door and sends the terrorist flying, jumps out, full KKK gear, and is like, yeah, and he's like,
I'm wearing an American flag as a cape.
I just
yes. You pull out an enormous American flag, like the flag itself is like 12 feet long, and you're waving it, and then you spear the terrorist there in the streets with.
How about
flag.
I'm driving Bigfoot? How about
You
that?
are, yes, you are driving Bigfoot. Yes, and then you piss on him, Wings of Redemption style.
You know what the guy had? The
That would be,
terrorist.
how would you report that? A terrorist organization of Muslims was trying to cut a British soldier's head off. Well, apparently a hate group member driving a monster truck.
Some guy was talking about those terrorists, and he made a really good point. So the terrorists claimed to be some sort of like Muslim peace-loving guy who was just trying to demonstrate how horrible we are by beheading people. And the guy's like, if I'm a vegetarian and I eat 100 cheeseburgers to demonstrate to you how horrible not being a vegetarian is, then I'm not a vegetarian. I am something else. I'm a cheeseburglar. So, yeah.
I like it.
And anyway, I thought it was a good point. It's like, yeah, this guy lost his title as like, Muslim pacifist or whatever as soon as he beheaded somebody.
But what he said about the atrocities being committed against innocent people in, Iraq and Afghanistan and
I don't
stuff
give
like
a shit about that.
It's true.
If those two guys cut my brother's head off in the middle of the street, I'd shoot them on the fucking courthouse steps.
Yeah, I find it interesting. I'm wondering, like, how the police call went, because the normal police don't have guns there. They've got whistles and sticks and shit. So I imagine the police call.
Took care of this.
I imagine the police call is like, they call 911. I don't know what you British people call. Here we call 911 for emergencies. They call 688 or whatever the fuck you guys dial. And they're like, hey, we need the police right now. And they're like, okay, what's the number? No. The real police. The ones with guns. Like, what do you ask for? We're like, no, we need some people shot.
Can you ask for cops with guns in the UK? Or at least, or it's not the UK.
Obviously you can, because when they showed up, they were guns blazing.
Because there are cops with guns, just not all of them, right?
Yeah, it's more like a SWAT. I almost imagine it as like the distinction we have between like police officers we see day to day and like SWAT teams that we see, on a Friday night after someone calls them and sends them to our residence. No one else thought that was funny.
Yeah, SWAT teams
that a
with
noise
body
complaint
armor and
joke?
assault weapons.
I figure that's a noise complaint joke, but okay.
No, it's a swatting joke.
I just don't see it. Like everybody's overlooking this. That guy had a family. I mean, who knows why he's in the military? What was his job in the military? He could be like fucking, Pauly Shore, a water treatment guy.
Wait, who
Well, there's a pool man.
He's talking about the British soldier who was killed. He's like, that guy could have been Pauly Shore, the water treatment guy. Dude, that was a great movie. Everybody hates on Pauly Shore. That and
That was a good
Son-in-Law. You ever see Son-in-Law?
Yeah.
Pauly Shore made some funny shit back in the day. I wonder
But
where
the
that
fact
guy
is, being in the military doesn't mean you're a grunt.
Right. Neither, just like being in Afghanistan doesn't mean you're a terrorist that should have a drone
Exactly.
drop a bomb on you. So.
Oh, you would take the terrorist side.
I mean, but we drop
But
drones
there
on
are
all these
legitimacies to what the guy was saying about how Allied forces, I can't just say American here because it happened in London, but they get to decide where these battle zones are. And they get to decide what killing is sanctioned, because this killing in London obviously isn't sanctioned, but the murder that happens every day in battle zones in the Middle East are sanctioned because, well, who defines the battle zone? Oh, well, we do, but you're the one doing the killings. Well, yeah. It's like, well, then how do you decide? To these people that are getting killed in battle zones that are innocent bystanders is just, it's like, oh, well, it sucks that it happens, but it happens. They're in a battle zone. If they don't like it, they should get the fuck out. It's like, well, this is the home to these people. And they see atrocities every single day. They are harassed by soldiers. They see family members murdered by soldiers. They see family members vaporized by bombs dropped from drones. The White House admitted today to just killing 4 U.S. citizens in a drone strike. 4 U.S. citizens! Without due process of any kind.
Are you sure it wasn't 3?
Was it
4.
3?
It was 4.
I thought
4
it was
people
like
and 3 of them were citizens?
something like I thought like it was like
okay.
Sorry, we've used
3
drones to kill
citizens.
4 people, but 3 were bad guys. Like that's how I read the story. Wait a minute.
But somebody somewhere, a U.S. citizen was completely denied due process, just vaporized by a drone strike bomb, and that's us doing it to ourselves. These people, it's just, how do you?
I don't disagree with you, Lefty. If I was put in their situation, I'd do the exact thing. Anybody would. Woody would. Kyle would.
Right. The next day, you're
if there was
finding
Chinese tanks rolling down Dongola Highway and they wanted to rape my mother and they wanted to take my sister and make her a slave, I would fight them tooth and nail too. Any human being would.
I've talked about this like government oppression, privacy violations, etc. And I swear it feels a little tinfoil hat. And I realize this black guy removes my credibility, but I feel like it's not just a tinfoil hat. Like, they really are spying on us without due process in a way that didn't happen before the internet. You know, before the internet, you had to get a warrant, you had to tap a phone, you had to get a license. Now they just monitor. What was the program? What was it called? Like Ulysses, but there was a worse name before it. That was meant to capture every email in the United States.
I don't know. I know it from fiction is the Echelon program, but that's from, like, you know, Sam Fisher, Splinter Cell fiction.
I swear that might be it. But you say you know it as fiction?
Yeah, I know it from fiction. I'm assuming it's fictional, the whole idea. I mean, the ability for the government to record digital media without warrants is a thing. They do that with supercomputers at the NSA, and the FBI has admitted to it. But what it's actually called, I know it through fiction as the Echelon system.
I've forgotten the name of it. But anyway, yeah, there was a legit system, and you have to work with ISPs because of the way the internet works. And they were monitoring email traffic without warrants just for, like, random shit, you know, presidential threats or something like that. Mm-hmm. And that didn't happen before the internet. You know, they're monitoring all our traffic. They're doing so much more privacy invasion than they used to do. Killing people with drone strikes, like, that's real bullshit, right? Like, you shouldn't be doing that. I don't know that it's drastically different than cops just shooting people in some other way, but it's a concern of mine. You know, like, I have issues with our government getting more powerful, invading our privacy more than they ever did before. And
there's nothing wrong with that. Don't let people try to tell you that you're a crazy tinfoil hat. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. No, you did not get a sundae. I hate you. Done.
What?
Off the show.
What
I
the
quit.
fuck?
I quit.
Is there a cherry on that?
No, there's
All right then.
She put. I guess I'll show you.
Please show us.
So it's. I don't know what kind of ice cream it is. I'll find out soon. And there's cookies on the top with whipped cream.
I quit. I quit the show. Can we end the show, please? I'm done now. I quit. Give up.
We only got another 15 minutes.
That looks so good.
I'll let you know.
But anyway, because I know there are going to be people, especially with the Connect thing, and you know, it's technology. I was told by some person, it's technology, man. It's the future, man. What's wrong? It's like, no. There's nothing wrong with wanting privacy. There's nothing wrong, especially from the government. There's nothing wrong with being like, hey, government, you and I agreed to this whole thing called this Constitution thing. Mm-hmm. That's a covenant between us. I know how you can act, or I know how you're going to respond to my actions. That is the basis for our system of government here in America. And we have these set of rules, things that you can't take away from me. And here you are trying to take things away from. That's not cool. You just can't do that on a whim. There has to be a process, and the document itself tells you how to change it. And that hasn't happened, but still, all these things just start disappearing. Why is some guy with a high school degree patting me down, feeling my balls before I get on a plane? No.
I apologize for that, by the way. You were wearing tight pants. And I went past high school, but just the same.
Okay. But there's nothing wrong with
Would you
that.
feel better if the TSA agent who funded you was more educated?
No, that's just a dig at the TSA because fuck the TSA.
I don't